The wind off the Atlantic had teeth that night. Not the kind that nipped real teeth, sharpened on ice, salted with old shipwrecks and dead fish. It howled across the Maine coastline, raking the black spruce and cedar, banging window shutters, and moaning through the cracks of the old Delaney House. No one lived in the Delaney House anymore, not officially. But David Harlan did. He wasn't a madman, not exactly, though the town had other opinions. A quiet ex-schoolteacher with eyes like melted glass and a back bent by grief, David had moved into the house 6 months after the accident, after the thing with his daughter, after she wandered into the waves and never came back. Some said he'd never left the beach that night. Not really. That December night, snow fell sideways. Slanting white spears pierced the darkness, driven by the fury of the ninth tide, a strange phenomenon the locals swore only happened once a decade. A final, unnatural swell just before the sea froze over. David sat in the parlor of the Delaney house, the oil lamp hissing beside him. No electricity here. No phone. Just the sound of his pen scratching across yellow paper, a fire struggling in the hearth, and the distant sound of the sea growing louder. He was writing a letter to no one in particular, the way lonely people sometimes do, when he heard the front door open. He froze. No one should be able to open that door. He had bolted it, chain and latch. Besides, no one visited him. He stood slowly, heart hammering, and walked to the hall. The door stood wide open. Snow blew in across the threshold. No footsteps, no voice, just cold. And then he heard it. A giggle. High-pitched, childlike, familiar. "Emily," he whispered. He should have felt terror. He should have run. But when grief sinks deep enough, it punches a hole through fear and through reason. He stepped out into the storm, the wind slicing across his face. He wore only a sweater and slippers, but the cold didn't bite the way it should have. Not when he saw her. Down by the rocks. A little girl in a red coat, facing the sea, unmoving. He ran, faster than he had in years, down the iced path, past the twisted hedge onto the slick black stones. "Emily," he cried, slipping once, cutting his hand. "Baby, turn around." She did. Her eyes were wrong. Too dark, too wide, and too deep, like holes punched into wet paper. "You came back," David whispered. His voice cracked like the ice underfoot. She smiled, but it wasn't a smile a child should know. It curled, hungry and crooked. "You left me," she said. The voice was hers, but not. It echoed in a way no voice should, like it came from somewhere under the waves, as though it traveled not through air, but through water. David fell to his knees. Snow piled in his lap. The tide licked at his feet, icy and rising. "No, I waited. I looked every day." "You forgot the ninth tide," she said. "What?" "You promised, when I was little. You said you'd always come get me on the ninth tide, if I ever got lost." David stared at her. Memories slithered out of the darkness, old bedtime stories, made-up rituals, things a dad says to comfort a scared little girl by the sea. "Wait for the ninth tide," he had told her once, "and I'll come get you, no matter what." He had never meant it. The waves crashed louder now. Something surged beneath them, something big, not fish, not whale. And still she stood, smiling that awful smile. "Come with me," she said. You said you'd come." She turned, walked into the sea. The red coat vanished beneath the black froth. David stood. He should have run. He should have screamed. But he stepped forward instead into the waves, deeper, deeper, until the cold rose to his chest, then his throat. The last thing he saw was her face, under the water, glowing dimly, like bioluminescence in the depths. Then he was gone. They found his slippers the next morning, half buried in seaweed. No body, just footprints that ended at the tide line, and a single red button, old and rusted, nestled between the rocks. The locals nodded, grim. The 9th tide had come and gone, and the Delaney House, still empty. Though every winter around the solstice, people claim they hear a man crying in the wind or a little girl's giggle in the waves. Some say it's just the sea, but those who have lived by the water long enough, they know better.